You're tuned in to The Thinking Class with Lawrence D. Adams. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? This is Lawrence D. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. Oh, I see a new feature right there. Hey, I decided to go live today because I got a whole new setup. As you can see, I'm back on the couch. If you remember about 3-4 years ago, I was on the couch. I might have been in the corner. I was been standing up, different shots, but I'm back here and this actually gives a good look. But I want to talk about how I almost stopped. I wasn't going to do podcasting anymore. I actually had enough of it. And when I decided, I said, I've been doing podcasting for about 17 years, from Blog Talk Radio, from sending things through MySpace, sending things through Facebook, then YouTube. And now I've been here. I've been putting in the work. And I was saying, you know what? I'm going to give this up. But I thought about all the men and women that I've helped with the wisdom and the knowledge, and most of all, my experience that I have given them and seeing their lives change. And so I say, you know what? I cannot give it up. And I thought about all the friends and connections I made through YouTube and through doing this podcast. Doing this, I actually reconnected with a childhood friend, Pimp God, met some friends in California, around the world, New York, everywhere, and we got connected. So, I'm not going to stop doing podcasting, but I am going to change how I'm going to start doing it. And I want to make sure I give you exactly what you need and that I am bringing transformation to your life. Because it's no longer time for you to be silent, no more time for you to play back in the field. It's time for you to step up. And I want to see men, especially because this channel is really geared towards men, become the best version of who they are. No more sitting in the back row, but I want you to come to the front row, and I want you to become who you were designed to be. Now, I don't want you to become a carbon copy of me. I don't want you to even say the things how I say it. I want you to be the best version of who you are, because when you do, you become unstoppable in the room. And I can think of a couple stories how even with me saying I wanted to stop podcasting, I remember I was between Cleveland and New York, and I just didn't have connection. I don't think I had a computer, but I still had all the channels set up, and I wanted to give up. Matter of fact, I even stopped doing the podcasting because I just didn't have nothing to talk about. And it was a dark season for me. I was actually working for someone, and all my energy was going into that particular organization that I was working for. And for me to take time to do a podcast or even record was like almost like non and void because I didn't have time. It's almost like who I was working for said, hey, as soon as I start doing a live, they would call me to do some kind of activity like they knew. And so from that point on, I just said I stopped doing it. Once I came back to Cleveland, I still had the desire and the bug to do podcasting. But most of all, beyond doing podcasting, I wanted to help some people and serve them. Even when I was down and out, I came on the social media streets on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and every other TikTok. I said, you know what? I got to deliver. I got to help them. But this the problem. Here's the big problem. You can say you want to help people and it never really, really reaches the people who really need them. Let me say that again. You can say you want to help people, but it never reaches the people who really needs to hear the message that you need to give them. And that's when I decided this not just this week, but this year and last year to really hone in who is my message for. And I realized, and I've said it many times in the past, my message is not for everyone. I'm not here on YouTube to get likes, clicks, subscribers. I want to reach the men who are in a deep place in their life and they need to connect spiritually. They need to find their place in this world. They need to stop being able to sleep at night because they're wondering what their next day is going to be. I'm speaking to the men who are in good jobs, who want to know the game and spirituality from a man who's actually lived it. See, a lot of guys on YouTube, let me say this, let me say this. A lot of guys talk good game on YouTube, but they have no experience behind it. Let me say that again. There's a lot of guys who have some good game, it sounds good, but they have no experience. And my thing is this: show me the woman who's next to you. Everybody talk, they got, oh, I got this game, I can do this. Show me where you're living at. I'm not saying that you need to come up here and show receipts, but I'm saying really, where is the experience to what you're talking about? And I realize we have a lot of guys who talk real good, but offer no real experience or lived experience. So how can I help you if I never went there? If I never had a healthy relationship, or I never went through bumps in the road when it comes to relationships? You need to hear from a man like that. Do I have it all together? No, I do not. Am I perfect? I am not perfect. But what I am is a man who's willing to serve and see you transform into the best version of who you are. So why I almost quit podcasting? That's one of the reasons why. And also, I really want to see men, particularly men between the age of 35 to 45, because they're in that space. Some of them had kids, some of them don't. Some of the guys are in well-paid jobs, six-figure jobs, or even five-figure or four-figure jobs, but they are still wondering what is going on with me. I talked to a man this, what day was that? Tuesday? I talked to a guy Tuesday. Great guy. He's an actor, poet, but he still has some areas that he needed another man to flash the light on. Let me say that. He needed an older gentleman who was going to flash the lights in his life where he needed to actually deal with. So as I was talking to him this week, we were talking in person. He was like, wow, I really need to talk to you, LDA. I really need to hear what you're saying, because what you're saying is like what I need. So you please understand, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to give it to you raw, uncut, no chaser. But this young man was standing there and he just soaked it all in, because I began to not only see where he was at, I actually identified where he was at, because I've been there. And also, I was able to pull him just a little bit out of the place that he's been mentally and spiritually. And I think that's what men need to hear. They need to hear from an older man who's not in competition with them, who's not trying to make them be like them, but want them to be the best version of them. One of the things I appreciate about my sons is that we have a 24-hour group chat where either one of them can get in there and actually talk and ask questions. One of my sons sent a audio message today asking a question about something that him and his brother wanted to do. Did I think it was a great idea? Thought about it. I think I was in the process of eating something, and I gave an answer. And guess what happened? I say, thanks, Dad. That's what I need. But let me say this. This channel, this podcast, the thinking class, it's not for everyone. I'm thankful for all the subscribers. I'm thankful for all the people who signed up, everybody who listened. But I realize it's not for everyone. It's only for the particular men who are ready to experience transformation. It's only for the men who are ready to experience transformation on another level. So what you get here is the appetizer. You get a full meal here, but this is just to get you going. But the next level, behind the scenes, or I call it behind the velvet rope, where it's a 1K. There is a, what's going on, OG? What's going on? Shout out to you. I didn't even see you. I see the message now. Shout out to you. The next level is seeing men. You're being transformed in your spirituality, in your game, your mental, and your health. That's where it really comes down to. How can you say you're ready for a woman or for a next job or where you're going if you don't have somebody who's going to pull you, who's going to get in your ear and say, you can do it? A lot of men, I notice, all they need is for somebody to believe in them. All they need is that coach or that mentor to say, hey, you can do it. That's what's missing in a lot of men's lives. So that's why I'm saying this channel ain't for everybody. Yes, it's the thinking class, but we are not for everyone. I don't want everybody. I remember one time I did a viral topic on, I think it was on Kevin Samuels. And I had people flooding here. They were mad at Kevin. Some celebrated Kevin. I think this is after he passed away. I wanted to honor him. And I got some subscribers off of that. Okay, great. But were they the subscribers that I really needed? Nah. I need people who really want transformation, not just people who want just entertainment or the next gossip, or he said this on this channel and the other person said that on that channel. I'm not here for the debates. I can debate you up and down. I'm not here for all that. I'm here to bring about see men transform. If you ain't about that, you're in the wrong place. That's the difference. When you want to see people's lives change, you don't have time for mess. Anything you should know about me, I don't play with my time. I don't play about children. I don't play about my woman. I don't play about my money. So I'm saying all that to say I don't got time to be playing up here. I want to see men transform. I want you to come back like the testimonials that I have of men who had did the who had got the coaching from me on the one-on-one coaching. Thank you, LDA. It was exactly what I needed. Thank you, LDA. It brought transformation in my life. Thank you. I'm at the next level. Imagine when you go through the course that I have, and it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I'm not looking for everybody to join. I'm looking for the right men who are saying, you know what, it's time for me to come out the dark and walk into the light. And so the course is going to be 15K. Exactly what it is. $1,500. That's going to bring transformation in your life. See, sometimes people want only the free things and they're not willing to pay for the next level they want to go to. Like I was challenged this week about going to the next level in some areas. And it's gonna cost. I think how much it cost? 10K. 10K for this particular thing I need to do to go to the next level. I have to say, you know what? It's not for everyone else. It's for if I can invest in me, how much more should you invest in you? And I think that's where a lot of men are stuck at. They're not willing to take the time to invest in who they are. They want free game, which is good for a season. But once you begin to invest, put your money where your mouth is, you will see a change. It's something that happens when you begin to invest in you. When think about it, when you invest, when I was on the bus line catching this bus to catch a transfer, and then sometimes I missed that bus because the bus left early or left late, and I had to be at work at a certain time. I said, I need to invest in a vehicle that cuts my time from to get to my job. I can't depend on the bus anymore. The bus is good. It's for a season, but I need to make an investment. So once I invest in the vehicle, the next thing I have to do is what? Invest in insurance because I'm not driving without insurance. Then I had to make sure my license were good. Because why? I wanted to get to point A to point B faster. It took investing in myself to do that. And I think that's where a lot of men are stuck in their lives. They're not willing to invest in themselves, or they haven't found someone who's going to present to them the right plan so that they can invest in who they are, so they can get the transformation. So when I invested in the car, I think it was a Camry. It was a used Camry. It was gold on the inside with the plush interior, and you had to roll down the windows because I didn't have air conditioning. And this the other caveat with the Camry. It only one door only one side of the door worked. So the passenger side, I think you had to slide through you had to slide across. But you know what? That car got me from point A to point B. Got me. I went to the park. I went to the beach. I went everywhere. I just didn't have air conditioning. But then I said, you know what? I invested in myself. I invested in a car like this. Hey, it's time for me to invest in something else. Let me get another car. And I remember I got into an accident. I went across the street. I was driving on the road and I went into the intersection and a car slammed me and my passenger against a tree. There were some guys working. There were some guys working on the lawn. They ran and got us out of the car. The impact hit so much, I was against the tree. My car was curved around the tree. I was like, man, this is wild. I end up having to go into the hospital, the passenger, going to the hospital. My car was gone. Just the car I got from the bus. And then I started Ubering. I got an Uber. I started Ubering everywhere. I was back on the bus again. And I remember one Saturday, I think it was a Friday, I said, I still have my insurance, but this car is totaled. I remember I laid in my bed. It was a twin size bed. I don't know why it was a twin size bed. I laid in a twin size bed and I said, you know what? I'm getting a car today. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm getting a car. I ordered an Uber for a one way to the Auto Mile. You in Cleveland, you know where the Auto Mile is. And I got in there, and the driver said, "Hey, where you going?" I said, "I'm going to Auto Mile. I need to get a car." He said, "Why don't you go over to the Kia because they have somebody, I know somebody to work there." I said, "Really? Okay. Just tell them my name." Now, this is the Uber driver. I said, "Okay." So he drops me off there and said, "Hey, all right, good luck." So I go there. The guy that was working there, it was someone I went to school with. I always went to Collinwood with. It was him. I said, "Oh my God." So we talked. We end up working. It was his brother. I went to school with his brother, his older brother. We end up talking, and guess what happened? I end up getting a car with no money down, a brand new, I don't know what year it was, car, and I end up driving it that day. It's because I made up my mind that I was not going to stay there and I needed to invest in who I was. If you are stuck in any area of your life as a man, it's time for you to experience transformation. Why be stuck in your life when you can get the transformation that's going to change your life? Even in that story, I remember getting the car and I was so happy. It was a Kia Forte, but it was brand new. It was gray and black on the inside. I drove that car, drove it. I showed my sons. We rode around in it. It was just, and I ended up keeping the car, actually buying it outright, and then end up taking it back and getting another car. Very many minutes, yeah. So it's those things. I remember the times of where I was and how I had to invest in me as a man. And the other part of this is I had to invest in me in upgrading my wardrobe, upgrading my mindset when it comes to relationship. What's going on, PM Uppercut? I had to invest in every area of my life. I'm looking right at right where my camera is. There's a stack of books and the books that I invested in. This camera that I had to invest in. You know why? Because I wanted to become the best version of myself. And I'm still taking the time out to make sure I invest in me. Every man has no excuse why they are in the place that they are in if they don't take time to invest in them. Like today, I missed the gym today. I normally go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but today we had to move some furniture around and set it up so you can see I'm in a different space. That was an investment to what? Bring me to the next level. Greetings, what's going on? Greetings, good to see you. I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Oh, I can get my thing. Where my claps at? So yeah. So that's why this channel, I'm gonna emphasize this. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. It has never been. Not only is the thinking class, it's the doing class, but we are the transformation class. About bringing transformation into men and women's lives. Mainly to get to the men, transform men. Is we have a lot of information, but we have people who are lacking transformation. We have a lot of people who give a lot of information, but what are you doing with that information? And is it bringing transformation in your life? I'm sharing from my life, my good, bad, and indifferent, so that you can see that you have an individual. You can look at a mirror and see, hey, if LDA can do it, I can do it too. I just remember catching the bus, clear as day, in the rain, in the snow. It's funny. I was stayed out. I was stayed out in the cold, and it seemed like I didn't get that cold because, hey, I know I had to do what I had to do to get to the job. And I got on the bus, and sometimes everybody didn't smell the most pleasant, and some people were talking to themselves. That you know, it's amazing. You said that's why I haven't been. Let me see what you said. Transformation. That's why I haven't transforming. That's why I haven't been around much either. Love you. Good. Love you too. Good to see you. Yeah. Transformation. I remember just getting on the bus, watching people with cars drive by. I remember I had to catch the bus to go get groceries. Yeah, I did what I had to do, but I said I made in my mind I had to invest in myself. And I just remember I became thankful just to be able to have bus fare, because I think I get a weekly pass. That's exactly what I would do. I would get a weekly pass. You go to not the liquor store, but I can't even think you go to the store and get one of those weekly passes. Then you got people trying to sell you the passes downtown. I remember that clear as day. And to see the transformation from where I was to where I am now, it's amazing. To what I'm driving now, almost close to a $60,000-$70,000 car. And I was on the bus years ago. I'm thankful. And I don't want to just keep that for myself. I want to make sure another man, not just the car part, but get the transformation on the inside. Was it easy? It was not easy. It was not easy at all. Did I lose some friends? Yep, I lost some friends. Did I gain some friends? I gained some friends. But the transformation was worth it. I remember picking up that Camry, that gold Camry I was talking about. I paid cash for it. I don't even know where I got the money from. I got the money somewhere. I worked 2 jobs and I ended up stacking some money up. I got a lump sum at the end of the summer, and I ended up paying cash for the car at this makeshift dealership, or people selling cars on the side. And I said, I want that car. And I end up getting that. Even where I used to live at, in a boarding house, sharing the bathroom with 5 other people, to where I'm at now and to where I'm about to go. Most people don't talk about what they went through. They just want to tell you the glory. They never tell you the dirt or the grime and situations that happened to them to get them to this point. They don't talk about it. You said that's real talk. Yeah, that's real talk. Yeah. They don't talk about, everybody wants to say, yeah, I was always up. I was never down. I was always doing good. No. I was in a boarding house, sharing the bathroom with 5 other people, taking a shower, figured out and sharing the washer and dryer. You got to share the cooking. Then when Mickey Mouse showed up and wanted to cook with me, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go. If you don't know what I mean by Mickey Mouse, I mean there was a rodent, or it was a mouse that had got on the stove, and I had my food covered, and he was on the stove like he wanted to come eat. I said, you know what? LDA is not going to stay here anymore. And then one time I was in my room at the boarding house, and I'm laying there in the twin size bed, and I hear something in the closet. I said, what is that noise? I know I don't got no food up here. What's this noise up here? Mickey was in the closet trying to try on clothes. I said, you know what? I gotta leave. I can't live like this. I told the landlord. He was like, yeah, I'm aware of it. I'm getting some in some traps. So I say, but you know what? I can't stay here like this. And I end up, I remember I seen the place I'm at now, and I said, I will stay there. Sure enough, Bill came out. They had an opening and talked to the landlord and end up getting a place to stay here. My point of saying all that is, even during those times, I had to go from point A to point B, and there had to be a transformation first within me. Let me say that again. I had to go from point A to point B because there had to be a transformation in me. Because there was that transformation in me, I'm able to speak today, not from a place of being arrogant or not from a place of that I know it all, but from a place of saying, how can I serve you? How can I serve you? Yeah, Mickey Mouse was trying on my clothes. He was trying to try on my clothes. I said, no, 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 no. I can't go for that. No, no, no. I had to leave. But my point of saying all of this, it's a lot of people talk good online, but have they really lived the life and have they really brought transformation in their lives? Or have they experienced a transformation and have they invested in themselves? So my goal has always been to see that for men, women, especially men between the age of 35 to 45, to actually experience transformation in their lives. Not just be the regular mediocre man, but be extraordinary, to be a man that stands out above the crowd, whose mother is proud of him, whose uncle has said, that's my nephew, whose grandmother said, that's my grandson, whose aunt says, that's my nephew right there, whose kid says, that's my daddy right there. I want to be the man to help you to get that transformation where your kids say, that's my dad, and I'm proud of him. I carry his name. Where people are almost to the point they're jealous and envious of you because of the transformation that took place in your life. That's why I'm here. I'm here to bring that kind of transformation. If you're here for the ride with me, this journey with me, let's go. Yes, there will be one-on-one coaching. Yes, there is the 1500 or the 15K course that's being set up. You want to get a part of that because until you invest, you're not going to experience a transformation. People value what they pay for. I value this camera that I'm talking from because I paid for that. These lights right here, I paid for them. Okay, let's go. Right. I paid. People value what they pay for. It's the difference between going to Morton's or Ruth Chris and McDonald's. Two different qualities of meat. They can both feed you, but the quality is completely different. Why are you selling for McDonald's when you should be at Ruth Chris? And this right here is Ruth Chris, Morton's red, top notch right here. Why settle for McDonald's when it only fills you up for a minute and you're back hungry again, when you can eat and experience Ruth Chris right here? This is Lawrence D. Adams. I wanted to come up because I didn't start the show at 1 o'clock as I should, because we were moving stuff around and I was reconnecting everything. But I will come up with some more videos. I'm probably gonna do some pre-recorded videos. But I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for everybody who's been listening. We're here, this is the thinking class. We're going from thinking to doing to transformation. Let me say that again. From thinking to doing, transformation. Thinking, doing, transformation. This is Lawrence D. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the thinking class, and where my classic song? And we are out.